The following video was recorded during the day, with sunlight pouring through the window behind a man who was standing in his own living room, holding up his phone to record something he'd noticed in the dark reflection of his powered-off TV screen. It wasn't night. It wasn't some dimly lit hour where shadows could be excused. It was broad daylight. And yet, in that reflection, something was there. Watch.
Am I tripping or is that? Someone sitting on my couch, but like, there's no one there. What? But like, there's no one there. There's no one on the couch. Oh my God, it's gone.
A dark, human-shaped silhouette is clearly visible sitting on the sofa, slumped slightly forward in the TV's reflection. But when he swings the camera around to the actual couch, it's completely empty. Pillows, a throw blanket, nothing else. He pans back to the screen, and the figure is gone too. Some think this could be a residual presence. An imprint of someone who used to sit in that exact spot, briefly visible in a surface dark enough to act almost like a mirror between spaces. You decide what was sitting on that couch. In the following clip, a man is lying in bed at night when he notices something strange under the white duvet beside him. A large shape and two pale hands with dark discoloration on the fingers gripping the edge of the blanket from underneath. His breathing is already frantic as he reaches over and begins to pull the cover back. Watch. First, he sees hands, then, when he checks the narrow gap between the mattress and the wall, something looks back at him. For just a fraction of a second, a pale, distorted face with wide dark eyes and messy hair peers out from that gap, directly at the camera, before vanishing. It's there, and then it's gone. What makes it so hard to dismiss is the way it appears. Not rushing, not retreating, just watching, as though it had been there the whole time he was searching. Some viewers immediately recognize the visual as something close to what's described online as a crawler, a term used in modern internet folklore to describe pale, emaciated humanoid figures said to appear in narrow, dark spaces, watching before they act. But I'll leave you to be the judge. The second clip was recorded by a young man who lives with his grandfather and has spent months documenting a series of strange incidents involving him. According to the uploader, this isn't the first unsettling video he's shared. On multiple occasions, he's reportedly found his grandfather standing motionless in corners of the house, staring into space for long periods of time, behaving in ways that he says feel completely out of character. Eventually, he decided to start recording some of these moments. Watch.
Essa porra tá vazando, não tô no cheiro. Deixa eu passar aí. Peraí, deixa eu passar aí. Look, come. Look. Look.
At first glance, it appears to show his grandfather standing in the room as usual, but if you look closely, viewers notice something deeply unsettling about his face. From the camera's angle, it almost appears as though he has no facial features at all, no visible eyes, no distinguishable expression, just a smooth, darkened void where his face should be. Naturally, many viewers were quick to suggest a simple explanation. Some believe it's nothing more than a mask, poor lighting, shadows obscuring his features, or a camera artifact caused by compression and low image quality. But others weren't convinced. Several paranormal-minded viewers pointed out that faceless apparitions have appeared in folklore for centuries. Across different cultures, there are stories of entities that imitate human appearance while lacking key human features, particularly the face. In some traditions, a missing face is seen as a symbol of an identity that has been lost, hidden, or replaced. Other legends describe spirits that can mimic the form of a living person but fail to recreate every detail correctly, resulting in disturbing imperfections that reveal something is wrong. In the next clip, a man films himself in bed at night, his eyes wide and red, visibly terrified, saying he woke up during a fever and something was entering his room. Watch. The bedroom door slowly creaks open on its own, and then, in the widening gap of the doorframe, a tall, extremely thin humanoid figure appears. Long limbs, a disproportionately large round pale head, stepping into the room. The camera jerks away in panic, then back, and the figure is further inside, standing near the wall. Fever dream or not, the figure is specific in a way that's hard to explain away. A lot of viewers familiar with accounts of crawler-type entities pointed out that the proportions, the elongated limbs, the oversized head, the way it moves through a doorway rather than appearing suddenly, match descriptions that show up repeatedly in reported sightings. Others think it's a costume, a mask, someone willing to stand very still in the dark for the sake of a video. And maybe that's true. But if you've ever woken up at night convinced something was in your room, you know that the line between a fever dream and something real is exactly as thin as that creak of a door. And like and subscribe if you're enjoying watching this video. What would it take for you to be sure which side of that line you were on? The following videos were all recorded inside the same home. And across these 3 clips, whatever has been happening here escalates from deeply unsettling to something that's genuinely hard to watch without feeling a chill. It starts in the middle of the night at 3:33 a.m. with a man waking his partner, a woman sitting on the edge of the bed in a dimly lit bedroom, 2 children sleeping behind her because something in the house doesn't sound right. Their baby daughter is asleep right there on the bed. She's not crying, and yet the sound of an infant wailing is echoing through the entire house, clearly audible, growing louder the closer you get to the staircase. He decides to go down and find out where it's coming from. Watch.
Ceci, ¿qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es, güey? 3:33, no mames. Y se escucha clarito, ¿eh?
Sí, ahora hace como la bebé, como la niña.
Es como si estuviera llorando ella, ¿verdad?
Sí. Es su llanto.
¿Mande?
Es su llanto, digo.
Ah, cabrón. Voy a bajar. Aquí no, es que cada cosa. Oye. Voy a tener que salir. No, amigos, ya es bien tarde, ya mis hijos ya están dormidos. Son claramente los sonidos que hace mi hija cuando llora. Siempre dejamos focos prendidos, pero Padre Santo. Sí. Aquí. Padre Santo. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino. Hágase tu voluntad, así en la tierra como en el cielo. Bueno.
As he moves through the darkened downstairs rooms, the tiled floors, the rocking chair faintly visible, the refrigerator casting a pale shape in the dark, the crying grows louder, as though it's concentrated in the one room straight ahead. He begins to whisper the Lord's Prayer. Then he stops, he gasps, and he runs. The camera whips back up the stairs in a blur of panic, and the video cuts out. What he saw in that dark room, something in the rocking chair, a shape that was enough to make him abandon the prayer mid-sentence, isn't fully visible to the camera, but his reaction tells you everything you need to know. Some viewers think the disembodied crying is consistent with what's often described as a residual haunting, a looping imprint of a past event replaying itself in the space. Others believe something was using that sound deliberately, mimicking the child to draw someone down into the dark. That distinction matters because one implies a passive echo and the other implies intent. It didn't stop there. In this next clip, the same man is back downstairs alone. Hours later, his family's still asleep upstairs, and the house is doing something new. Watch.
Ay, ¿quién anda ahí? Deja de molestar. Les voy a mostrar, vean. Escuché un niño. Acabo de escuchar un niño. Qué loco, cabrón, qué loco. Miren, por si piensan que es alguien de mi familia. Vean a mi familia dónde está. Tantito nada más, tantito. Verga. Miren a mi esposa, a mis hijos. Tantito nomás. Miren. No se ven. Ahí está mi esposa, chicos, no se ven. Están dormidos. Miren. Ya están dormidos.
Y para ejecutar aquello que yo deseo hacer, el fin que con tu ayuda quiero conseguir. Oh poderoso Satanás, único Dios verdadero que vive y reina por los siglos de los siglos, te ruego que inspires a Mamón, príncipe de la avaricia, para que se manifieste ante mi presencia y me conceda la respuesta.
The Alexa device in a room lit entirely by red LED strips activates on its own, not with a generic response, but with an apparent lecture about Mammon, a demonic figure described in medieval theological tradition as the Prince of Greed, said to embody corrupt wealth and spiritual corruption. Then he sees something strange standing in the shadows. Watch.
Está en las sombras. Me van a tomar a loco, raza, pero allí está, lo juro por Dios. En el nombre de Jesús. En el nombre de Jesús. Escucharon el lamento. Yo lo estoy viendo clarito lo estoy viendo, como nunca se ha dejado ver. Y no es uno, son varios. Se ven sus rostros en la parte de arriba, miren cómo se ven. Son varios. Ahí está, ahí está, ahí está, ahí está, ahí está, ahí está. Yo lo vi moverse. Miren. Miren. Puta madre, güey.
Something pale, tall, and impossibly thin lunges from the side of that doorway directly at the camera, and the footage cuts. Whether the Alexa activations were triggered by a pre-recorded routine or by something else entirely is the first argument that fills every comment section on this video. But the pale figure at the end is harder to explain away. It moves with a speed and a shape that doesn't match anything ordinary. Some viewers familiar with demonology pointed immediately to the Mammon connection, arguing that whatever was in that house had been invited in, knowingly or not, through whatever was stored or played on that device. For those who followed shadow figure cases, the shapes standing in that dark doorway fit what's often described as shadow people, dark, humanoid presences that tend to cluster in liminal spaces like doorways and staircases, and are reported across cultures and traditions going back centuries. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying watching this video. Now, in this next clip, filmed in what appears to be the same home, a man notices something standing behind a frosted glass door. A silhouette, small and still, the size of a child. Watch.
Hermanos, para que tú los ayudes, Señor Jesús, y que ellos caminen, Dios mío, Señor, en tu verdad, para que ellos, Dios mío, caminen, prosperen, estén bien, Señor, guárdalos. Guárdalos, Dios mío, de cualquier cosa, Dios mío, que quiera acecharlo, cualquier trampa del enemigo, cualquier cosa que el enemigo quiera poner, cuídalos, Señor, guárdalos, protégelos, porque ellos son tuyos, Señor Jesús.
Miren lo que estoy grabando, amigos. Ya no puedo estar ni en mi casa tranquilamente, vean. Se ve claramente la silueta ahí. Es pequeño, amigos, como de un niño. Chicos. ¿Ya vieron? Ahí está, vean, ahí se ve más claro. Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino, hágase tu voluntad, así en la tierra como en el cielo. Danos hoy el pan de cada día. Perdona nuestras ofensas, así como nosotros perdonamos a quien nos ofende. No nos dejes caer en tentación y líbranos del mal. Amén.
The figure doesn't move. It just stands there on the other side of the glass while he films it, his voice dropping into a shaking whisper. He says he can't be in his own house peacefully anymore. He begins to recite the Lord's Prayer, and the moment he finishes, Amen, The keys hanging in the door lock begin to rattle violently, as if something on the other side reacted to those specific words. He retreats through the house fast, camera swinging past the guitar case, the rocking chair, the kitchen, and the stairs. A child-sized shadow that appears at the exact moment a prayer ends and shakes the door on its final word. You decide what that means. The following clip was filmed at night, inside what appears to be a dimly lit room, by a man hiding underneath a long table covered with a white tablecloth. He's pressed flat against the floor, phone propped outward from his hiding spot, breathing so heavily it's the dominant sound in the room. Wide eyes, clearly terrified, not moving an inch. Watch. A figure in a long white gown steps out of an illuminated doorway and moves slowly, deliberately, into the dark room. Barefoot, stiff, its movements just slightly off in a way that's hard to pin down. The man doesn't run. He stays completely frozen under that table as the figure crosses the background. And then the sounds start. Frantic, high-pitched giggling that builds into something far less human, layering into screams and a deep guttural roar right before the clip cuts to black. Some viewers think the disembodied child's voice and the robed figure represent two separate presences, possibly one luring and one pursuing. Others believe the sounds at the end aren't coming from the figure at all. So what exactly was hiding in that room with him? Now, in this next clip, a woman is at home in the middle of the day filming herself talking when something from inside the house stops her mid-sentence. Watch.
I wish there was an easier way to get my daughter to start being able to put everything... Yeah? Sarah? Sarah? You say something? Did you hear that? Sarah? 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 Sarah?
She searches the whole house, moving through hallways and rooms, calling Sarah's name, and then, while she's still walking, two faint, high-pitched sounds respond. Not a child's voice, something else entirely. Many viewers think whatever called out that first mommy was mimicking a child's voice to draw her attention, a tactic associated in a lot of paranormal traditions with entities that lure people by sounding familiar and safe. The sounds that follow don't match anything visible in the house. Sarah never answered. So what was it that called for her mother first? In the following video, a guy is making a quick video to show his sister's fiance just how creepy the crematorium where he works can get after hours. What starts as a casual walkthrough quickly turns into something far more disturbing. Watch this.
Lights, they turn off automatically at a certain hour. And I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna walk you through friend that works, that he would see and hear things coming from these furnaces when they're burning the bodies. So when I'm walking through here, they usually put the urns out to send to the families. So when I'm walking here at night, I walk right by these urns that they put on these tables here. And then I come down, freaking out. Crazy.
Now, crematoriums already carry a heavy atmosphere. The energy there is said to linger trapped between the living and the dead. Some even believe places like this can absorb emotions, grief, pain, fear, and release them in strange ways. Others think the constant contact with the deceased could make it easier for spirits to attach themselves to the living, especially workers who spend long nights alone. Now, back to the guy in this video. He's convinced there's a ghost haunting this crematorium, and until someone gives him a better explanation for what he saw, he's not budging from that theory. So what do you think? Paranormal encounter, or something else? You decide. Now, this next video was captured at around 3:15 in the morning, and after what happened, there was no way the guy could go back to sleep. Watch this.
Estaba por entrar a mi casa, son 3:15 de la mañana, y la luz empieza a ser así, no sé. Sinceramente siento que hay alguien acá. No sé por qué lo presiento. Si te querés mostrar, mostrate ahora. Hay alguien sentado ahí. Hay alguien sentado. Mostrate.
Only people who've woken up to the sound of something unexplainable can truly relate to the kind of terror this brings. That feeling of being watched, of knowing you're not alone, And for this guy, it's not a one-time event. Strange things keep happening in his home, often at the same exact hour, like something's deliberately choosing that time to make itself known. But many who followed his story were relieved to find out it wasn't the teddy this time, the same teddy that's moved on its own in several of his earlier videos. But that only made people wonder, what if it was never the teddy? What if whatever's in his home simply uses different objects to get his attention, or worse, to toy with him? Some say he's dealing with a spirit that feeds off fear, while others think something darker might be attached to the house itself. Until he shares another update, what's really tormenting him remains a mystery. In the following clip, a woman named Jess shares a chilling story, one that's been haunting her for over a decade. Jess lost a close friend named Derek 13 years ago, and ever since then, he's never really left. No matter where she moves, strange things follow. Lights flickering, footsteps in empty rooms, objects shifting on their own. And in her new home, one she moved into just a few months ago, it seems Derek has somehow found her again. Watch this.
Mary, what? He's doing it again. He's doing it again. Mary, he's doing it again. Derek! Hey, Derek! I know you're dude. Derek! Derek! I'm talking to you, man. Stop me, dude. Calm down, Jessica. It's okay. It's okay. Calm down. It's just Derek. It's just Derek. Hey, Derek. Hey, Derek. What you doing, buddy? I miss you. Derek. What are you doing, buddy? You know I love you. You know I love you. Hey, Derek. Come on, you dumb... What the f...
Now, a lot of people believe Jess might be unknowingly holding on to something that once belonged to Derek, something personal that's keeping his spirit tethered to her. Others think Derek could be trying to communicate, perhaps trying to deliver a message she's missed for over 13 years, something that, once understood, might finally allow him to move on. But not everyone agrees. Some say she's making a dangerous mistake, that what she's experiencing isn't Derek at all, but something pretending to be him, using her grief to gain her trust. A few even suggested she check her attic, where energies tend to gather in old houses, and when she finally did, this is what she found.
Y'all wanted me to come up to the attic, okay? This is a wall that y'all saw some shit on. And these are the stairs. Like, my husband has all his clothes, of course. But if you look up there, there's no windows. I'm not going all the way up there because it scares the shit out of me. There's no windows. There's a sofa, some mirrors, a chair, his clothes, but there's no windows up here, okay? There's nothing up here that would have done anything. See? No window. No window. No windows. nothing. Absolutely nothing up here. Other than like his toolboxes and a chair. I'm not going up here because it's too scary for me. But there are some mirrors, which is weird for an attic. A fan. See, there's no windows. This is my attic. There's nothing up here that could have done that shit. Alright, I'm getting the out of here because it feels weird.
So, is Jess truly being visited by the spirit of her old friend? Or something else wearing his face to keep her believing? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. Now, in this next clip, we're looking at footage captured inside a daycare in East Tennessee, one that used to be an old church before it was converted. Watch this.
The video I'm about to show you is very disturbing. I'm just gonna let it play for you and then I'll give you the background.
See? Lights go off. Now watch. You're gonna see.
What you just saw was security footage that was sent to me by a woman who worked at a daycare in East Tennessee, Appalachia region. This daycare is actually a very old church that was turned into like a private daycare school. She said that events leading up to this, she was kind of having some weird experiences where she would be in her office after hours and would hear like people walking down the stairs, and then she would go check the stairwell and nobody would be there, or she would hear noises coming from classrooms and open up the door and see nothing. She said she would be the only one on the property at this time because she was in charge of like opening the daycare center, and then she would often stay after hours. So nobody was in the building when she was hearing these noises. On this particular day, she was opening the daycare. She went in that door that you saw at the end of the hall and noticed there was an iPad laying on the ground. This was really odd to her because these iPads are put into this like cabinet area that are hooked on like chargers. And she said they're very secure and they're like sitting up on charging decks, if that makes sense. She thought maybe an intruder came in or something, so she immediately notified the security officer who came and checked the camera footage. And that is the camera footage that you saw. Literally, the way that iPad just flings out of that cabinet is giving me chills right now. In the beginning, I feel like I also saw some kind of an orb object, but I've watched this video so many times and I feel like it's just unexplainable. Tell me what you saw in the video, if you saw the orbs like I did, or if you noticed anything else that's odd, and leave in the comments if you have any weird experiences like this.
The way that iPad flew across the room is hard to wrap your head around. Now here's a bit of context. The woman who shared this video works at the daycare and said there had been a series of strange occurrences long before this day. She'd often stay late in her office and hear what sounded like footsteps coming down the old wooden stairs, only to find no one there. Other times, faint noises would come from the classrooms after hours, toys rattling, drawers opening, whispers she couldn't quite make out. On the morning this footage was recorded, she arrived early and found one of the iPads lying on the floor. Now, she's the one who usually opens the daycare, so at that time, the building should have been completely empty, the iPads locked away in a cabinet as usual. Thinking it might have been a break-in, she called security. Omen people believe it's residual energy from when the building was still a church, that maybe the spirits of those who once gathered there never really left. Others think the conversion of the sacred space might have disturbed something that didn't want to be moved, but what do you think really happened inside that old daycare? In this next clip, a woman was walking down a quiet street late at night when her camera picked up something she couldn't explain. Watch.
Or the sub for you is going to be more. Everything's going up, but our wages aren't going up. Because I'm still seeing wages that are fucking pitiful on Indeed. Oh, yay, I can make oh yeah, I can make the same amount of money I made when I was out of high school, you know? Looks like there was a figure just standing right there. That's so crazy. I think it was my own shadow. That happens way too often.
At first glance, it looks like nothing more than a shadow, but take a closer look. The outline, the faint movement, and those glowing eyes staring straight at her. Some viewers think she may have caught a shadow figure, a manifestation often linked to dark energy or spiritual unrest. Others believe it's something far more physical, a creature that thrives in the dark, staying just beyond our understanding. There could be many other explanations for what she saw, like a trick of the light, an animal, or maybe something else entirely. But the idea that it could be something aware of her presence is what makes this clip so unsettling. Because if figures like this can move freely among us, unnoticed and unbothered, it makes you wonder what else is out there when the streets go quiet. So, what do you think she captured that night? And do you believe that some things walk among us? Some seen and others we were never meant to see? Now, in this next clip, a woman named Keys has been dealing with strange activity in her home, the kind that keeps her up at night. But this time, she finally managed to catch something on camera. Watch this.
What is happening right now? First the door was moving, then I heard like talking, and then I keep seeing shadows. And for anyone telling me that I should go out there, yeah, why don't you go out there, please? Oh, it just opened and shut right in front of me. Oh man, I wish I could. Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! I'm freaking out. And before anyone comes at me, it's freaking the middle of October in Pennsylvania. It's freezing out, so I have no windows open. I have one fan that circulates throughout the whole room, and that door has never done that. Like, it's moved on its own, but never just like slammed shut like that. I can't believe I just caught that on camera. What the actual believe I just caught that. And of course I'm alone. Yay me. Fun times.
Whatever that was, it's not the first time she's seen it. Keys says things like this have been happening for months. Objects moving on their own, lights flickering even when the power's stable, and that unsettling feeling that someone's standing right behind her when no one is there. She's tried everything from cleansing rituals to changing rooms, but nothing seems to stop it. And now, after this footage, she's starting to wonder if whatever's haunting her house might be getting stronger. If you've ever experienced something similar, drop your thoughts below. What did you do to make it stop? Because at this point, Keys is running out of ideas and courage. Now, in this next clip, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian visits one of Nebraska's most haunted locations, the Argo Hotel. This place has a long and unsettling history. Years ago, when it was still a sanatorium, a woman named Alice reportedly died during childbirth in the basement. Since then, people say her spirit never left. They hear her crying softly in the hallways at night, sometimes calling for her baby. But here's the disturbing part. During renovations, workers found skeletal remains of an infant sealed inside one of the walls. Many believe it was Alice's child, and she's not the only one said to haunt this place. Guests staying in room 1 often complain about their blankets being tugged off in the middle of the night, or waking up to the sound of faint breathing right beside them. On November 28, 2024, Ian decided to spend the night alone inside the Argo Hotel, hoping to capture proof of what's really happening here. Watch.
That sounded like a lady's voice, right there. I swear to God, I just heard that right behind me. Alice, is that you? She's that ghostly woman that they see wandering around. Could you say something again? I don't know if I'm just losing it, but I swear to God I heard that. I'm not hearing anything else. It's dead quiet. Alice, was that you I just heard? Whoa. There's something standing right over there. It was right behind that couch. There was something literally standing in that photo. It was like a mist or something. But I'm not seeing it anymore. It's completely gone.
So was that Alice still wandering these halls, or something else entirely? For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following clip was captured inside the Old Gila County Jail in Globe, Arizona, widely considered one of the most haunted locations in the state. Since its closure in 1981, the jail has become a hotspot for paranormal investigations and has even appeared on shows like Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters. One of the jail's most disturbing stories centers around a former inmate whose life ended inside his cell in 1911 while he was awaiting trial for the drowning of 2 young girls. In the days leading up to his death, he claimed the spirits of those girls were visiting him, tormenting him inside his cell. To this day, visitors report sudden drops in temperature, an overwhelming sense of dread, and faint sobbing near his former cell in cell block B. Over the years, guests and investigators have also reported being touched, scratched, or pushed by unseen forces, along with disembodied voices, unexplained footsteps, and loud bangs echoing through the second floor. On this particular night, a group of investigators set up a camera at the foot of one of the staircases. Watch closely.
I hear something in here now. Whatever it is, we have to drive on this line. Yep, oh, I guarantee we do. Just one on where you're not looking for. You might need to walk through and see what's going on.
This voice is impressive on its own, but what makes it even more compelling is that one of our 2 investigators talking at the top of the stairs, discussing their worry about the rain, caught the same voice from one of their cameras. Take a listen.
Here, Riley? Yeah.
We let this video extend a bit longer to give you a comparison of the 3 voices heard in this clip, our 2 investigators' voices, and the 3rd disembodied voice. To add to the mystery surrounding these stairs, less than 2 hours later, another camera at the top of these stairs automatically shuts itself off. Our team hurried to figure out what happened to the camera, realizing that we need to fix this unknown issue downstairs at base camp. This is what happened. After going through over 3 hours of footage, listening through the heavy rain and natural echoes through the prison, this voice is only heard twice. What are your thoughts?
Some believe it may be connected to the inmate whose restless presence is said to linger near the upper floors, while others think it could be something even older tied to the jail itself. It's moments like this that remind people why the old Gila County Jail continues to be an enigma, one that refuses to give up its secrets. Now this next clip comes from a guy named Chris, who regularly explores abandoned buildings with long, often unsettling histories. In this particular video, he's inside one of those locations alone, documenting the space when something strange is caught on camera. Watch closely.
Did you hear that? That was loud.
At first, there's a loud bang that echoes through the building, sharp enough to make him freeze. Almost immediately after, you can see something shift in the frame, subtle but unmistakable. Chris later explains that in that exact moment, it felt like someone reached out and grabbed him by the shoulder. When this video surfaced, reactions were split. Viewers unfamiliar with Chris and his work were quick to dismiss it as post-production editing or a staged effect. But longtime followers pointed out that Chris doesn't usually sensationalize his footage, and that abandoned structures like this are often unpredictable, both structurally and otherwise. Whether it was something physical, something paranormal, or just a moment caught at the worst possible time, one thing is clear: whatever happened in that building left Chris visibly shaken. And for many who've explored places like this before, that reaction says more than the footage itself. In the following video, a man says he's been dealing with a persistent and unsettling feeling that someone is inside his house with him. And whenever that feeling hits, it's not subtle. His chest suddenly feels heavy, like the air around him has thickened, making it hard to breathe normally. He describes it as a pressure that comes out of nowhere, usually late at night when the house is quiet. One night, that same feeling returned. Instead of brushing it off, he picked up his phone, hoping to finally catch whoever or whatever was causing it. But what he ended up recording was something he didn't expect at all. Watch closely. After seeing this, he says he's now convinced that something is moving freely inside his home, aware of his presence, but careful about when it reveals itself. Some viewers believe this could explain the physical sensations he's been feeling, suggesting that intense fear or stress can manifest as chest pressure when someone senses danger. Paranormal investigators often approach situations like this in different ways. Some believe acknowledging the presence gives it strength, while others suggest setting firm boundaries, cleansing the space, or even temporarily leaving the home to break whatever attachment may exist. And then there are those who say that when your instincts keep warning you, when your body reacts before your mind does, it's not something to ignore. Because sometimes when your gut tells you you're not alone, it might already be too late to pretend otherwise. This next video is about Kyle, who has been living in this house for about a year and a half, and whatever is happening there has never stayed in one place. The activity seems to move freely through the home, starting in the crawl space, then shifting to the attic, later the garage, and now even the rooms where he sleeps. Kyle reports hearing children laughing in empty hallways, objects shifting when no one is near them, and sudden noises that don't repeat in the same location twice. Hoping to find a logical source, Kyle decides to check the attic himself, thinking maybe there's something hidden or overlooked that could explain everything. But what he finds only raises more questions. Watch.
Shit. Oh my God. Shit. Damn it. I'm hearing voices up here again. Yo. There's like a little kid laughing. Surely you heard that. Oh man, it's getting funny at this point. What the heck? I think some of y'all are right. I think ever since I put that ornament that I found up here on the Christmas tree, things have been a little wild. Happy holidays, I guess. Okay, maybe it's time to get out of here. I thought I was going to come up here and look around, see if I could find anything else, but we might have to... Maybe I just need to get a friend to come with me or something. Yeah, we'll see about that.
At first, Kyle believes he's only hearing voices, but if you look closely, a figure appears to be standing completely still directly in front of him. Some viewers also point out faint orbs drifting through the frame, and combined with the voices, many believe the attic was already fully active before Kyle ever stepped inside. Whether this is a single entity moving through the house or something far more complex, one thing is clear: the activity in Kyle's home isn't slowing down. Now in this next video, a man shares footage that many viewers say proves that renovating a house doesn't erase whatever energy is already there. Here's a bit of background. The house was originally built in 1949 and has gone through several renovations over the years. At the time this video was recorded, it was still occupied by an elderly woman, and the man in the clip would regularly come by to carry out remodeling work. But according to him, every time he stepped into the house, something felt off. He described sudden cold spots, the uneasy feeling of being watched, and no matter how long he stayed, he never felt fully alone. One day, while working in the basement, something happened right in front of him. Watch. Viewers were quick to point out that there's no obvious explanation for how it shifts the way it does. Some believe the age of the house plays a role, that decades of lived experiences, emotions, and unresolved events can leave something behind, especially in places like basements where energy is said to linger. Others think the activity could be tied to the former owner herself, or even the tension surrounding the home. Shortly after this was recorded, the elderly woman was moved into a nursing home and the house was put up for sale. According to the man, the family had already begun arguing over money and her will, creating even more unrest around the property. Whether it's residual energy from the past, something attached to the house itself, or just another unexplained moment caught on camera, this home seems to carry more than just its history, and whatever moved that chair may not be finished making its presence known. In this next clip, a family was settling in for the night, watching a horror movie called The Deliverance, a film inspired by the real-life 2011 Demon House case of LaToya Ammons in Gary, Indiana. Everything felt normal at first, just another scary movie night, until the atmosphere inside the house began to change. Right in the middle of the film, the power suddenly went out in the parlor. Almost immediately after, the family felt a heavy shift in the room, the unmistakable sensation that someone had just walked into the living room with them. Panicked, they went to their rooms, hoping whatever it was would stop there. But whatever entered the house that night wasn't finished. Watch.
Oh, hell no! Bro, stop! Bro, what the? Oh, hell, you gotta go.
After this encounter, the family swore off horror movies completely. Many viewers believe films based on real events can stir up fear, emotion, and attention, things that some say act like an invitation. Others argue it's a coincidence, that the tension from the movie simply heightened their senses. But there are also those who warn that once something makes itself known, it doesn't always leave on its own. The real concern now is whether this was a one-time incident, or the beginning of something that plans to come back when the house goes quiet again. What do you think? Now, in this next video, a family's dog has been acting strangely, and what it reacts to has left viewers uneasy. Watch closely.
You're crazy.
The dog is clearly seeing something no one else can see, but two details immediately stand out. First, the family doesn't seem overly concerned. They brush it off, suggesting the dog is simply acting out or responding to a random noise. And second, when the dog becomes more agitated, they shush it, a moment that made many viewers uncomfortable. A lot of people believe animals sense changes in their environment long before humans do, especially when it comes to unfamiliar presences or sudden shifts in energy. What makes this even stranger is that only one dog reacts. So, what do you think? An overreactive pet? Or the only one in the house paying attention? Now, in this next clip, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his solo exploration through the haunted buildings of Bonanzaville. Still inside the mansion, he enters one particular bedroom that many visitors say feels different from the rest. This is the room where people have reported seeing an imprint on the bed, as if someone is lying there even when the room is empty. It's also believed to be the very room where the mansion's owner, David, passed away. Watch closely.
Well, doesn't really look like it. David, did you die in this room? I heard you died of a brain hemorrhage, and I'm very, very sorry to hear that. Are you the one that leaves the imprint on the pillow? Could you do it right now? What the heck is that? What is that? Somebody downstairs? What the heck is that? It's like a jingling sound. What the heck is that? It's down there.
After leaving the room, Ian starts hearing unexplained sounds coming from downstairs. As he follows the sound, he captures something even more unsettling.
Wait a minute. Look at that. Dude, those things are freaking moving. Oh, hell no. Hell no. How is that even possible? Look at that. You're freaking moving like crazy. And that's our seance table. That's even more terrifying. Oh, God. How is that even happening? There's no air in here or anything. Oh, God. Look at that. They're still moving. Oh, what? Dude, this camera just died.
The crystals on the lamp begin swaying back and forth aggressively, far more than a draft or vibration could explain. What makes this moment even stranger is what happens next. As Ian approaches the table, both of his cameras suddenly die, despite showing full battery just moments earlier. Almost immediately, Ian begins to feel lightheaded, overwhelmed, and uneasy, sensations many investigators associate with intense paranormal encounters. Realizing something may not want him there anymore, Ian makes the decision to leave the mansion. Was this a warning, or something following him all along? You decide. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following video was recorded by a man who was testing his new glasses camera mode, and what he briefly saw made him stop cold.
What the? I know I just saw her. Yo, am I tripping? Scrunch, I could have swore I just saw you standing up. I think I got that on my glasses. I got to check and see if I got that on my...
The little girl was in her light blue onesie, and in that opening split second of footage, she appears to be standing upright near the wall. Something a baby in a swing simply shouldn't be able to do. If you look at that very first frame, it's so distorted and blurry that it's nearly impossible to say with certainty what's actually there. Skeptics say it's a compression glitch, a single corrupted frame that the brain reads as a figure. Others think the camera caught something it wasn't supposed to. What do you think he saw? Now, in this next clip, two young girls, both in matching red shirts, are sitting at a small table at night, finishing their meal, while a woman films them from across the room. It's an ordinary enough scene, the kind of quiet nighttime routine that plays out in homes everywhere. Suddenly, one of the girls, Nani, says she's scared, and at first it's easy to brush it off, because children often react to darkness, to shadows, to things adults don't pay much attention to, and it seems like one of those moments. Watch.
Finish eating.
When I'm done, can we get our fries?
Yeah.
I just... what? Don't scare me.
What?
I'm scared. It's okay.
I just turned off the lights, that's all. What was that? What are you doing? Oh, what, Nani? Look at me. What are you scared of? The fish? Oh, the fish died.
What?
Angel's sleeping already. It's raining, girls.
No.
Nani, are you almost done eating? Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. But you gotta listen to me. Turn around. Look at me. Look to me.
The girl sitting on the left begins to imitate the situation, playfully making growling and laughing sounds, clearly trying to tease and lighten the mood, treating it like a joke rather than something real. But then something shifts, because she turns to look in the same direction Nani was focused on, and her reaction changes instantly. The teasing stops, her expression drops, and within seconds, that playful imitation turns into genuine fear, escalating from small sounds into full panic, her body language tightening as she begins to cry, then scream, as if whatever she saw in that moment removed all doubt that something was actually there. And that reaction is what unsettles viewers the most, because it's not one child reacting anymore, it's two. And the second reaction comes after direct eye contact with whatever caught their attention in the first place. But what makes this harder to ignore is that nothing visible appears on camera, no shadow, no movement, nothing that explains the intensity of their fear, which only raises more questions about what exactly they were reacting to in that moment, because whatever it was, they both saw it, and whatever was there that night still hasn't been explained. This next video comes from what appears to be a residential driveway, captured on two separate occasions by the same security camera, both times in the early hours of the morning, both times with no one present, and both times catching something that has no obvious explanation. The first incident was recorded at around 5:27 a.m. on February 18th of 2025, in complete pre-dawn darkness. The property quiet and still. Watch. What appears in the frame is a translucent white humanoid shape, but not fully formed, lacking a head, with only the lower portion clearly visible, moving in a way that suggests motion rather than distortion, as though it is crossing through the driveway with purpose, yet without the physical presence that would normally accompany a person. The way it holds its shape, even briefly, makes it difficult to dismiss as simple light interference or passing mist, because it doesn't disperse or break apart the way natural elements typically would under infrared light. Then, captured on that same camera on the same date, but timestamped at 4:37 a.m., nearly an hour earlier than the first clip, something entirely different appears, adding another layer to what's already difficult to explain. Watch. This time, instead of a figure, a glowing cycle moves through the frame, clearly visible, clearly defined, but with no rider, no person guiding it, no visible force pushing it forward, just the object itself moving through the space as though it is being operated by something that cannot be seen. In some folklore, particularly in parts of Asia and Europe, incomplete apparitions, figures that appear partially formed or missing defining features like a head or face, are sometimes associated with restless spirits. Entities that have not fully transitioned, or that are bound to a location due to unresolved circumstances surrounding their death. These forms are often described as unstable, appearing only in fragments, unable to fully manifest but still present enough to be seen under certain conditions. Now, two different manifestations, same place, same night, which raises a question that's far more difficult to answer. Is this just fragments of something that once happened there, or evidence that something is still there, moving through that space long after it should have been gone? This next clip was recorded by a woman checking her family into what looks like a rustic lodge-style hotel suite. A nice getaway, the kind of place you'd expect everyone to be excited about. The room has a stone fireplace, a lofted second floor, a balcony with daylight streaming in. Nothing about it looks wrong, but the moment the family steps inside, the little girl, KK, loses it completely. Watch.
Oh, she don't like this one. Wasn't expecting that. Dang, big mama. Is there something in here? We rebuke it, Kai Kai. We rebuke it. She said, Yeah. Yeah. There's shit on the toilet.
That's where you and Dad sleeping?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
What?
Close it. Don't pull out bed. This is so nice.
You welcome. I hope y'all like it. I hope y'all got some energy because we're gonna be up all night.
KK is still inconsolable by the end of the clip. Her dad has to hold her near the dining table just to calm her down. Now, a lot of people would chalk this up to a toddler being overstimulated or tired from travel. But what's harder to dismiss is how specific the reaction was. Not to the car ride, not to the unfamiliar faces, but to that room. Many believe young children, especially toddlers, haven't yet developed the social filters that cause adults to ignore what they sense. Some call it residual sensitivity, the idea that children perceive environmental energy that most adults have learned to tune out entirely. Whether that's what KK felt in room 24, nobody can say. But she wasn't having it. You decide what that means. This next video comes from a man named Jorge, and his situation is one of the more unsettling claims you'll come across, because according to him, whatever is haunting him isn't tied to a location at all. It's attached to him personally. He describes it as something that follows him everywhere, something he insists physically attacked him recently, choking him in his own room. So to demonstrate that the haunting travels with him, he set up a camera one afternoon at a park. A completely ordinary outing with a father and a young girl named Amora having a snack at a picnic table, surrounded by bare branch trees in what looks like early spring. Look closely at the tree line in the background.
Dad! Yes. Oh, what's over there? What's over there? Dad! Yeah? Yum, 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 yum. Yeah. Come here. Come here. I got bubbles. You got bubbles. Dad. You want to walk? You want to go for a walk? Esta cosita. Esta niña de papi. I got your nose. I got your nose. I got your nose. Oh, give that nose. Give me that nose. Oh my God. Ay, cosita linda de papi. Oh, give me my nose.
Between two tree trunks in the midground on the right side of the frame, there's a dark vertical shape, static, upright, present throughout the entire scene while the father and daughter laugh, eat, and play together at the table. It never moves, it never reacts, but it doesn't disappear either. The narrator believes this is the same entity that he claims attacked him, watching from the woods while his daughter played, completely unaware. And that's where it gets difficult to dismiss, because the shape itself is genuinely ambiguous. Skeptics would say it's a shadow falling between two trunks at a particular angle, the kind of thing your eyes latch onto when you've already been told to look for something. Others think that's exactly how a poltergeist-type presence would show itself, not dramatically, but quietly, at the edge of visibility. The term poltergeist comes from the German meaning noisy ghost, though historically these cases are often tied to a specific person rather than a place, which is exactly what he's describing. The idea that something could attach to a human body rather than a house is a common thread in more extreme paranormal accounts. Now, he's asking the same question he can't seem to answer himself, whether what's watching from those trees is something malevolent, something neutral, or something that might actually be protecting him and his daughter. The footage won't give you a clear answer, but that shape in the tree line standing perfectly still while a little girl laughs in the foreground, you decide what that feels like. This next video was recorded inside a woman's home on the morning of March 30th of 2021, and it starts with something that clearly had her frustrated before she even pulled up the camera. She walks through her hallway and finds a bouquet of artificial flowers lying on the floor, the kind that sits snugly inside a glass mason jar mounted on the wall, the kind that, as she points out herself, wouldn't just fall out on their own. She zooms in to show exactly how secure the arrangement is, the stems tucked firmly into the jar, nothing loose, nothing that gravity alone could explain. And then she says she's gonna pull up her security footage because she knows something else is going on. Watch.
These things, right? This is supposed to be identical to this, but I walk into this shit on my floor, so I'm like, what the fuck, right? And like, you can like see, like if I wanted to, it's not just gonna fall out, like this stuff is in there, you know? So, I'm gonna pull up my camera so y'all can see what I'm talking about.
Right there on the Wise camera at 8:37 in the morning, with the hallway perfectly still and no one anywhere near it, the bouquet is suddenly removed from the jar, not sliding, not tipping, but pushed forward with enough force that it clears the rim entirely and drops straight down to the floor. You can hear it too, a faint scraping sound as the stems drag against the glass, then a soft thud when it lands. The jar doesn't move. The mount doesn't shift. Just the flowers, gone. Whatever moved those flowers, it did it in an empty hallway, on a quiet Tuesday morning, and left no trace of how. The following video was recorded by a man named Isaac, who recently moved into a house that has been passed down through several generations of his family. On the surface, it seems like a typical old home, quiet, somewhat isolated, and filled with the kind of history that comes with buildings that have stood for decades. But once you learn what happened there long before Isaac arrived, the story begins to feel far more unsettling. The original owner of the house was a war veteran. After returning from combat, he reportedly struggled heavily with PTSD, and family members say there were nights when he would suddenly leave the house and hide outside, convinced he was hearing noises coming from a small shed in the backyard. He insisted something was in there, something moving and sometimes watching. Over time, his fear of that shed grew so intense that he eventually refused to go anywhere near it. Even during the daytime, he would avoid walking past it. Years later, Isaac says that same shed is the one place on the property that never feels right. From his bedroom window, he claims he has occasionally seen figures moving inside it. Other nights, he hears loud banging coming from the shed door, like something inside is trying to force its way out. One morning, while recording a video to answer questions from viewers about the house, something strange happened. Watch this.
I've been seeing all the comments, I've been seeing all the questions, and I wanted to make a video to answer those questions for you guys now. It's about 5:30, 5:45 in the morning. I can't sleep. So I figured, why not, right? So on to the first question. What happened to the video? Y'all hear that, right? Like that. Y'all see that?
If you look closely at the window behind him, a white figure briefly appears, then suddenly moves out of sight. And not long after that, something else happens. The door slowly opens on its own, even though no one else is there. Moments like that made viewers even more curious about the shed itself, so many began asking Isaac to go inside and check it out. Watch this.
Okay, so you guys have been asking me to take you in the shed and leave the phone in there. And I know it's been a little while since I put out a video regarding the shed, but a lot has been happening and I just truly needed some time. So I took it, but just to show you, it is locked, okay? And I'm going to immediately, no cuts, as per usual. Okay, so we are walking into, God, these dolls are creepy. We're gonna walk in, well, not walk in, but we're in here now. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and set this up. You guys got a good view, right? Windows, everything. All right. I guess I'll catch y'all. I'm out.
While Isaac is filming, a noise suddenly comes from one of the plastic containers, a sound that almost resembles a doll shifting or trying to move inside the box. Isaac later confirmed that when he checked afterward, there was a doll that wasn't inside its box. And if you're wondering, where did all those dolls come from? It turns out the granddaughter who now owns the property has a deep love for collecting dolls. Over the years, she filled the shed with them, hoping to eventually pass the collection down to her children. But after Isaac posted that video, viewers wanted more proof of what might be happening inside the shed. So they asked him to record another clip, this time from a different angle. Watch this.
And just so you know, because somebody actually said in the video yesterday, of course it happens from behind the camera. That's what's behind the camera, okay? Solid wall. That's what's behind the camera, okay? Okay. I'm out. That wasn't supposed to happen. Maybe I should close the door softer next time. Let's go ahead and try that again. Okay? I'm gonna close it softly this time. Lord have mercy.
Isaac had already left the shed, yet something was moving inside. Some viewers believe the shed could be tied to the trauma of the veteran who once lived there, a place where fear and distress lingered long after he passed away. Others think the dolls themselves may be acting like vessels, objects capable of holding or attracting energy. Despite how uneasy it made him feel, Isaac kept receiving messages asking him to go back to the shed again, with many people claiming the activity probably only happened during the daytime. But that assumption turned out to be wrong. Watch this. This time, whatever might be inside becomes far more active. Objects begin shifting around the room and things scatter across the floor. Some viewers claim they can hear faint breathing sounds in the background, while others believe they hear a voice quietly saying "help" or possibly "let me out," while another sound resembles someone saying "get out." Ever since Halloween, Isaac says every single night he hears sounds coming from the shed, noises that suggest something inside is moving things around. So each morning he wakes up to see this. Watch this.
This is what I come into every single day. Y'all ask me why the shed. Look at this. Dolls knocked over, turned around. Baseboards moved. Not baseboards. Drywall moved. Bed knocked over. Powder all over the floor. This is what I come into every single day. You guys ask me why is the shed cleaned every single time I walk in here? It's because every single day I wake up, I have to come in and clean it because it's a mess. This is a regular occurrence. So you guys are gonna watch my morning routine. Somebody said lay it like this so you get a wider angle. I have a clip on the back, so there's no way. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. I don't. So let's maybe. Okay, maybe from here. Oh. Okay, it's about as open as a shot as I can get because I have to. Somebody said they don't have the energy to do this. Man, it's freezing out here. It's like 20-something degrees here in South Carolina. And I'm out here having to yet once again pick all this shit up. My God, I'm freezing. Even the foam mattress is solid. Good God Almighty. Back in the days when I used to wrestle, I used to pray for.
While he's sweeping and talking about the temperature in the area, a voice can be heard quietly saying, "Who's there?" Another detail also caught viewers' attention. Many people said that simply looking at that object gave them a strange, uncomfortable feeling. Several viewers even asked Isaac to investigate where it came from and why it was inside the shed in the first place. For now though, Isaac hasn't found any clear explanation, so until more details come out, that shed in the backyard remains a mystery. This next video was recorded by Nate, a man many viewers already recognize because of the strange activity that has been happening inside his home for quite some time now. Recently, people began digging deeper into his past and discovered that he used to work in a cemetery. And ever since that detail came out, some viewers have started linking the disturbances in his house to something he may have unknowingly brought back with him from that job. Whether that connection is real or not is impossible to prove, but the things happening inside his home have definitely kept people talking. One morning, Nate was simply going about his routine when he suddenly heard knocking coming from his back door. At first it sounded normal, like someone politely tapping to get his attention. Naturally, he walked over to check who might be outside, but when he got there, this happened.
So I just thought I heard somebody knocking on my back door, but I looked out there and I saw nothing, so seems like the dog heard it too. Hello? It sounds like it's coming from the back door. It's locked. There's nobody there. What the hell? I don't understand this. What the hell was that? Hello? I don't understand.
The knocking can clearly be heard, yet when Nate enters the kitchen, there's no one standing there. And if you listen carefully in the background of the clip, something else can be heard. A faint whisper that many viewers believe sounds like a woman's voice. This isn't the first time people have pointed out strange voices in Nate's recordings either. In several of his previous videos, viewers claimed to hear quiet murmurs or soft responses when Nate called out into empty rooms. Because of this, some people have started advising him to stop reacting to the activity altogether, saying that acknowledging it might only encourage whatever is causing it. But if we're being honest, that's a lot easier said than done. Imagine hearing someone knock on your door and simply ignoring it, especially when you're already dealing with things like waking up with unexplained scratches on your body, objects suddenly flying across the room, and sharp items being thrown around your home when no one else is there. At that point, curiosity and fear would probably make anyone want to check what's going on. Some viewers believe the whispers might be a form of electronic voice phenomenon, brief sounds that sometimes appear in recordings even when no one is speaking nearby. But considering everything Nate claims has been happening around him, the moment in this clip feels difficult to ignore. Whether this is connected to Nate's past work, something attached to the house itself, or something else entirely. For now, the situation remains unresolved. The following footage dates back to 2022 and was captured by a CCTV camera late at night, when the area was supposed to be completely quiet. Take a look. If you focus on the right side of the screen near the gate, you'll notice something unusual. A dark shape suddenly moves and then it disappears just as fast as it appeared. At first glance, many people suggested the most logical explanation: a camera glitch. Security cameras sometimes struggle in low light, especially when there's sudden movement, insects flying close to the lens, or changes in lighting that cause strange shadows to form. And in many cases, those explanations make perfect sense. But then, there are those who take the mystery a little further. Across many ancient cultures, there are stories suggesting that humans may not be the only beings that walk this world. Folklore from different parts of the world often speaks about shadowy figures, entities that appear briefly, moving along the edges of visibility, rarely staying long enough to be clearly seen. Some legends describe them as spirits passing between places. Others believe they could be remnants of something older, something that exists alongside us but rarely crosses fully into our world. Of course, there's no way to confirm anything like that from a single clip, but when a shape appears out of nowhere, moves like something alive, and then vanishes without a trace, it's hard not to wonder what exactly passed by. So was that a glitch, someone's shadow, or something else entirely? I'll leave that one for you to decide. Now in this next video, a man who has openly shared that he lives with severe schizophrenia decided to do something unusual. Because he often experiences things that others can't see, he started recording parts of his home at night, hoping the camera might help him figure out whether what he was seeing were hallucinations or something else entirely. One night, something strange happened and he caught it on camera. Seeing this, the man initially assumes it's just another hallucination, something his mind is creating. In the past, he developed a small trick to test whether something was real or not. Whenever he saw something unusual, he would open and close the drapes or change the lighting in the room, which usually helped make the vision disappear. So he tries the same thing again. He opens and closes the curtains, expecting the movement to stop. But this time, it doesn't. To this day, no one has been able to say with certainty what caused the movement that night. The following video was captured by a man named Vishite, who says his workplace hasn't felt normal for a long time. What started as small, explainable things slowly turned into something he couldn't ignore. He began noticing shadows moving where nothing should be moving. Then came the physical encounters, scratches appearing on his skin while he was alone, the feeling of being pushed when no one was behind him. For a few weeks now, he has started hearing voices and seen shadows move where nothing should be. Watch this.
And I'm gonna go outside. Right, so see, bro, that's what I'm talking about. Nobody's in this back room, in the cooler. And I'm closing up and I heard this. Nobody's in. See the cameras. Nobody's up in there. I think this door, the last time, there's nobody up in here. Like, nobody.
Many believe this could be a mimic, something repeating his own voice back to him. Others focused on the shadow that appeared, suggesting something was physically there. Some even warned that entities known for mimicry often start with simple words, testing reactions, learning behavior, and getting closer over time. But things didn't stop there. When he posted another video, the situation became harder to explain. Watch.
Hey guys, so look, I'm hearing voices again. Yo, y'all heard that, right? Yo, man, I'm freaking out. Hello? Oh, no. No. That sounded like it was literally in my ear, dude. See, look, nobody is here. Nobody's here. Oh my god, dude, it sounded like something was behind me. Hello? Okay, I'm done with this. You need to leave. Oh my... Dude, you guys hear that, right? You guys hear it? I'm not tripping. I'm not tripping.
This time, the voice isn't subtle, it's aggressive. Words like die and you're dead are heard clearly enough to make out. Some viewers went further, suggesting it could be something far more dangerous, something like a skinwalker or even a demonic presence, especially considering his earlier experiences with being physically touched and scratched. Because when something is able to move objects, speak, and make physical contact, it suggests a level of strength and control that goes beyond imagination.
Oh, nope, I just got touched. Nope. Okay, so I'm here at work. Bro, I'm telling you, you heard that, right? I'm closing. And I'm like hearing stuff, bruh. I'm like closing right now, and I'm hearing, bruh, come on, man. Nobody's in here. I'm literally closing. Yo. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but it's been like really active here lately. Just wanted to show you guys. There's nobody in the store but me.
Moments like this are deeply unsettling. Imagine standing alone in a quiet building, already on edge, and suddenly feeling something touch you. Not imagining it or thinking it happened, but actually feeling it. Your brain immediately tries to rationalize it. Maybe it was your clothing, maybe your nerves. But deep down, you know when something touches you. And when it keeps happening, it changes how you exist in that space. Every corner becomes suspicious, and every shadow feels closer than it should be. At this point, viewers began warning him about something else: attention. Many believe that reacting emotionally, showing fear, or constantly focusing on whatever is happening can strengthen its presence. Some even say that fear itself can act like an invitation. But when you're alone and something speaks to you, touches you, and follows you, is staying calm even possible? Well, for Vicente, it's hard to just ignore it. After days of having the same thing happen to him at work, people advised him to confront it, and here's how that went.
Leave. Oh, go. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Get out of here. Oh. Leave. Shh. Ooh, dude, I'm hearing shit. No. Okay, you just go. Just get out. Leave. Oh, God damn it. See, I got touched by that thing. I'm just letting you go. There's nobody in the store. See, I'm doing what you guys want, and then I'm hearing there's shit going on everywhere, dude. Man. Leave. You need to leave.
As he tells whatever's there to leave, something suddenly pushes him, and if something can touch you, it can reach you anytime it wants. Vicente later revealed something even more unsettling. Other employees had experienced strange things too, hearing voices and feeling watched, but not as often as he has. Almost like whatever is there chose him specifically. A few weeks after his last post, things got worse.
I'm trying to lay down, and these damn lights won't stop going on and off. And I'm the only one here currently, and all my damn cabinets are open. And my remote for the lights are over there. And they just won't turn off. Yo, what the f is that?
Now, it wasn't just his workplace anymore. Cabinets he clearly remembered closing would be open, lights he turned off would turn back on, and he began hearing the same kinds of sounds inside his own home, the same presence, and the same feeling of not being alone. Many believe this could be attachment, when something connects itself to a person rather than a place. Others believe that by documenting it, speaking to it, and confronting it, he may have made himself more visible to it, reinforcing whatever connection had already begun. Because sometimes the moment something realizes you can hear it is the moment it stops hiding and starts getting closer. So what do you think Vicente is really dealing with? And once something starts interacting with you like this, is it already too late to make it stop? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. In this next clip, Nate is still trying to understand what's happening inside his house, and at this point, it's no longer just the occasional strange moment. For weeks now, he's been hearing footsteps when no one else is home. Heavy walking sounds moving from one room to another, doors creaking open slowly, and sometimes even faint whispers late at night when the entire house should be silent. He's woken up to things in different positions than he left them, and there are moments when his dog refuses to enter certain parts of the house, staring into empty space like it sees something he can't. You know how terrifying it is to feel like your home, the one place that's supposed to be safe, is no longer fully yours. That's exactly how Nate feels. Watch this.
I'm literally hearing walking, like right next to me, and swore I heard a muffled voice. It was like I hope the camera's picking that up. I hope my phone is picking that up.
What you're hearing doesn't sound like the house settling. It sounds like something running back and forth with muffled voices, low, unclear, but definitely there. Some believe this could be what's known as a residual haunting, energy repeating the same actions over and over, but others believe it's something far more dangerous. The disturbing part is, it didn't stop. The stomping and pacing continued for weeks. Then one morning, while Nate was working out, he heard something else.
Hey guys, I'm hoping the phone picks this up. I was working out in here stomping right above me. Right above me is my bedroom. I really hope the phone is picking that up. It was so loud that I actually dropped the weight. God, I hope it's picking that up. Oh my God. What is that? I'm shaking right now. I don't know what the
Toward the end of the video, a voice can be heard saying, "You need me." Some believe statements like that suggest attachment, when whatever is present no longer sees itself as separate from the person, but connected to them, dependent on them, or worse, believing the person belongs to it. And what makes that idea so disturbing is what it implies. If it's attached to him, moving might not solve anything, distance might not matter because it wouldn't be staying in the house, it would be staying with him. Entities like this sometimes create dependency. They observe, they wait, and eventually they make their presence known in a way that makes the person feel chosen, not for comfort, but for control. And now, for the first time, Nate is seriously considering leaving his home. But after hearing those words, he's no longer sure if leaving is the right thing to do, because if something inside his house truly believes he needs it, it may never let him go. If you were in Nate's position, would you stay and try to understand it? Or leave, knowing it might follow? Now in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian visits one of the most feared and talked about locations in Indiana, the Blackford County Jail, hoping to finally understand why so many unexplained incidents are still being reported there. This isn't just another abandoned building, this jail has a long and disturbing history, and many who've entered its lower levels say the basement feels different from the rest of the structure. Heavier, oppressive, like something is still occupying that space. But what makes this visit different is the specific reason Ian went down there. For years, people have reported sightings of what they describe as a little person moving in the basement. Not a shadow, not a vague shape, but something physical, small, and fast. Some believe it's the spirit of a former inmate trapped and unable to leave, but others strongly disagree. They claim what's down there isn't paranormal at all. They believe it's something alive that hides and watches. Watch.
Is there anybody down here? They say that this hole is a portal that spirits can enter. If this is indeed a portal to the spirit world, could you come up out of that hole? Float upward towards me. Little person? Are you down here? Are there any prisoners down here? This is where they kept the worst of the worst. Go!
After hearing that sound, Ian immediately freezes. It isn't the kind of noise old buildings usually make, and it doesn't sound like wood settling or pipes shifting. He stands there, listening carefully, trying to determine where it came from, but the silence that follows is almost worse. Going down there alone didn't sound like a good idea, especially knowing the stories. So instead, Ian decided to wait, hoping to catch even the slightest movement that could explain what he just heard. And then, after a while, he sees this.
Whoa, 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 what did I just see? What did I just see? I just seen something on the ground. Holy crap. It didn't look like a person though.
For a brief moment, something appears small and low to the ground. It moves quickly enough to avoid being clearly identified. But it's there, and it wasn't his imagination. Some viewers believe this could be the little person witnesses have been describing for years, a spirit manifesting in physical form. Others believe something far more disturbing, that there may actually be a living presence hiding beneath the jail, something that has adapted to the darkness, something that knows how to avoid being seen. At this point, Ian has a choice. He can leave knowing he's already captured something unexplained, or he can go further into the one place everyone warned him about. But Ian didn't come all this way to turn back now. Determined to finally uncover the truth, he slowly makes his way deeper into the basement, stepping toward the exact area where the figure had appeared only moments earlier, his light scanning the darkness while the silence around him feels heavier than before, like something is waiting for him to make the next move. Watch.
Oh god. Oh my god. It is so scary down here. Oh. I don't see anything over here. Creepy crawl space. I am not going in there. No. Little person. Are you in there? Oh, dude, what if it snatches my arm? I hear you. He's gotta be down here. Oh. Just got thrown at me.
Suddenly, rocks are thrown in his direction, and the timing makes it impossible to ignore because it happens right as he gets closer, almost like a direct response to his presence, like a warning meant to stop him from going any further. And that realization alone is enough to make him think that he may not be alone in that basement after all. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following clip was recorded by a man named Nate, who has spent months trying to understand what's happening inside his house. His experiences didn't begin all at once. They built up slowly. First, it was the voices, faint, unclear, and easy to dismiss. Then came the scratches, thin marks appearing on his skin overnight with no explanation. And then the kitchen became the center of it all. Objects shifting, things falling, and disturbances that made it impossible for more than a few quiet days to pass. But one morning, everything felt different and too quiet until this happened.
So I'm in the middle of working out, and I hear shuffling and banging coming from the kitchen or the basement. I'm not sure which one. It was loud though, super loud. I almost dropped the weights, it was so startling. Hello? I was just in there working out. Nobody in the kitchen. Back door is locked. Nobody here, of course.
After Nate says hello, a voice responds, "You hear me?" Then when Nate says, "I don't understand," something whispers again, but whatever it says isn't fully clear. Many viewers believe the voice sounds like a child, meaning the spirit of a child might be attached to the home, especially since child spirits are often associated with scattering objects and trying to get attention. But others aren't convinced it's harmless because scratches, whispers, and intelligent responses don't always point to something innocent. But I'll leave you to be the judge. Now, this next clip was captured by a family's CCTV camera, and it's the exact moment the father finally stopped dismissing everything his family had been experiencing. For months, strange things had been happening inside their home. The kids would run into the room crying, saying they saw someone standing nearby. His wife would occasionally freeze mid-conversation, convinced she had just heard a voice close to her ear. But every time, he reassured them it was nothing. Stress, imagination, or the house settling. Until one evening when he was alone babysitting their youngest child while working on his computer. Watch this.
Ball. He's not catching ball with you? Yeah. Do you need someone to play ball?
As you can see, the refrigerator door suddenly opens on its own. He immediately stands and walks toward it, clearly expecting to find someone standing there, maybe one of the kids or an explanation he could finally point to. But there's nothing. Some people believe this could be a poltergeist, a type of presence known for physically interacting with objects, opening doors, and making its presence known in subtle but deliberate ways. And now, for the first time, he's no longer trying to explain it away. He's trying to find answers. Until then, this remains unsolved. The following footage was captured by a CCTV camera in a woman's yard at around 3 a.m., an hour many people already associate with unexplained activity. At first, everything looks normal and the yard is quiet, still, and completely empty. But then, out of nowhere, something appears. Watch this carefully. After reviewing the footage, she said she couldn't convince herself it was anything normal. She insists there was no one outside that night. No neighbors, no visitors, no one who could explain what her camera captured. Moments like this raise a disturbing thought, because every night while most people are asleep, the world becomes quiet enough for other things to move unnoticed. Things that pass through empty streets, across silent yards, and disappear long before anyone ever realizes they were there. The camera simply caught what the human eye wasn't meant to see. So the question is, what exactly walked through her yard that night? You decide. This next video was recorded by a woman who works at a 911 dispatch center. a place where every call could mean the difference between life and death. And if you've ever worked late nights in a building like that, you know how quiet it gets. Because once the calls stop coming in, once the radios fall silent, there's nothing left but empty hallways, dim lights, and your own thoughts. But in her case, she wasn't alone. She had already been experiencing strange things for weeks. Phones would ring. Even though they weren't connected to any active line, drawers would slowly slide open on their own, and sometimes, in the middle of complete silence, she would hear what sounded like someone whispering her name. The scariest part? It all seemed to begin the exact day her boss mentioned relocating the dispatch center to a new building, almost as if something there had heard it and didn't want them to leave. Watch this.
So I'm at work again. Poulter's acting up as we're now referring to her. Maybe it's somebody. I don't know. Nobody should be here. There's literally no one here.
Places like this hold more than equipment and desks. They hold emotion, panic, fear, and final words. Dispatchers are often the last voice someone hears before everything changes forever, so a lot of people believe that kind of energy doesn't simply disappear, and in this case is finally revealing itself. After she posted that footage, viewers urged her to try communicating with whatever was there. Some believed it might be trying to get her attention. Others warned her never to acknowledge it, saying that recognition can make activity worse. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened.
So, y'all have been following my Poulter diaries here lately. So I'm pretty sure there's something standing in the doorway to the break room. Am I crazy, or is that somebody standing there? I don't... Y'all see that?
The moment she notices the movement, her entire body freezes, because this time, there's no denying it. Something is there with her. Her boss eventually stepped in, promising she wouldn't have to work alone anymore, but his decision wasn't just about protecting her, it was about confirming if what she was saying was true. One night, she returned, this time with someone else present, and what they captured next changed everything.
Hey guys, this is just an update to let you all know that I'm okay. I'm back at work today, but I'm no longer working by myself. I have someone here with me. Everything's been fine so far. We haven't had anything today, so... And here we go. What was that? What? It came from the hallway. Oh my god. No. Oh my god.
The thought that someone was in the attic or came out from the attic unsettled them. And since that night, there's been no clear explanation of what was truly inside that dispatch center, only the footage, and the disturbing possibility that some places remember every emergency that ever happened inside them. Now, in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian visits one of the most feared and talked about locations in Indiana, the Blackford County Jail, hoping to understand why so many unexplained incidents are still being reported there. Built in the late 1800s, the jail once held inmates, law enforcement, and the sheriff himself under the same roof. Over time, stories began to surface. Visitors reported hearing footsteps when no one else was inside. Others claimed to hear doors moving, objects shifting, and sounds that resembled someone quietly working in empty rooms. Ian enters the building fully aware of its history, so he begins by trying to communicate with whatever might still be there. For a while, nothing responds, until this happens.
Alright, well, it's pretty quiet, so I think I'm gonna move on. Whoa, what the? Okay, Ed, I feel like you were definitely in here. What the heck was that? That was so weird. What the heck? Dude, that literally sounded like somebody was in there. What the heck? It was so quiet in there. Like nothing was happening. And then right when I walk out, that happens.
As he prepares to leave the sheriff's office, a very distinct sound breaks the silence. It sounds exactly like a coffee cup being placed down on a hard surface. Ian immediately goes back inside to check, but there's nothing there. But as he's about to leave again, this happens.
Dude, there's nothing on these tables. Nothing up there. Ed, I'm definitely not going to try to tell you what to do, being a sheriff, but man, like that was interesting. Could you do that again? It's dead silent in here again. You know what? I'm gonna try walking out again. Okay, Ed. I'm leaving for sure this time. No f***ing way, dude. Again! Again! Dude, there's weird sounds going on in there. Every time I walk out, it happens. That's twice. That can't be like a coincidence. It sounded like paper almost. Alright, Ed, I can't tell if you're like messing with me now or what. I mean, either way, it's fine. I'm enjoying this.
This time, he heard the sound of paper moving, as if someone was inside the office, the very room where paperwork would have been handled daily, reports would have been written, and cases would have been reviewed. So was that the sheriff's ghost still doing his office duties? Or something else entirely?